every time I use this serve in my videos, people always comment, that's illegal or that serve is illegal. But I'm here to tell you, the serve is completely legal and highly effective. So this is the screwball serve. And today I'm gonna show you how to use it, when to use it, everything that you need to know. All I ask is that you don't abuse it, because against certain people, the serve is kind of like taking candy from a baby. So what is the use case of the serve and how do you use it? Well, when I'm putting this side spin on it, it causes the ball to curve. So as you can see, if I do it right, I can literally make the ball bend around the center line, which can get your opponents off the court, make them have to move even more. And it can also cause confusion, because if I hit it right at my opponent, you know, he's not sure if he should hit a forehand, backhand, or what. On this side, if I go over here, I can literally bend the ball way off the court. So if he's not a very good mover, that could be enough of a curve to where he's not even gonna make that return back. So I'm gonna go more into how you can use this serve later, but in order to get to where I'm at right now, what I'm showing you, you need to understand a few different things, mainly the grip, the toss, and the motion. Once you get those things, you're going to be able to do this very consistently. This is a really easy serve to make in once you get it down, but you have to make sure that you're technically doing it right. So let's get into that. So starting off with the grip, because you're going for extreme spin on this shot, it's really important that you have the right grip or something near the right grip so that your paddle's at the right angle when you're hitting the ball. So on a normal serve, I'll usually recommend that people use an Eastern grip, which as you can see is where my hand is on the big notch in the center. So the knuckle, my index knuckle that I usually reference, is on the big notch in the center. When I hit that, it looks like this. It looks like a normal forehand that you're probably used to seeing on the courts. The problem is if I try to use this grip when I'm hitting a screwball, it's almost impossible for me to get around the ball. So if I'm hitting the ball right here, my paddle's facing that way. What I need to do is angle my paddle like this. So this is the continental, which I usually don't recommend you use a continental on your normal serve because it's harder to get topspin. So with the continental or something near the continental, I now have the ability to hit the ball here out in front. I'm going to talk about why we're hitting it out in front in a little bit, but I have the ability with the continental to hit the ball out in front while also hitting the ball forward and cutting. So looks like that. I saw another video about this serve where the guy was saying that you should use the one-handed backhand grip, which looks like this. I don't recommend this because I don't think with this grip you have enough of an ability to use your wrist. You can probably get away with hitting it like that, but I really can't get power with that grip. So I think you should be in the continental so you can still do a little bit of wrist flexion and go forward through the shot. So one more with the continental, just like that. So the next thing that you have to keep in mind, it's almost more important than the grip, is the toss. Because on a normal serve, I recommend that players make contact with the ball out to the side, out in front, somewhere around the baseline. So that looks like this. On this serve, if I'm trying to cut and I try to hit there, I physically cannot make it work. So in order to hit a screwball serve properly, you need to hit the ball further out in front and further this way, and also lower. So where is that? Right around here. So a normal serve, I'm contacting literally here. This serve, I'm contacting right here. And this allows me to cut sideways. You can't really cut sideways if the ball is too high. It makes it really hard to do without having to bend your arm and do all this funky stuff. So you want to be doing is you want to have a downward facing hand. And you want to drop the ball from a lower position. You don't need to throw the ball up. Some people toss the ball up when they serve. You don't need to throw the ball up on the serve. You can kind of just drop it into the paddle. And that looks like that. So as you can see, it's a little bit different of a tossing motion. It might be a little bit tricky for you to get the hang of it. But once you get it down, I think it's actually a little easier than on a normal serve because there's just less going on. And you hit the ball a lot closer to when it releases from your hand than you do on a normal serve. So I'd recommend releasing the ball right around your knee. So you don't want to be too far to the left over here, and you don't want to be too far to the right. I'd say in front of your knee is a good release point. Definitely not from the height of your knee though, probably from around waist height. And people ask me if the serve is legal because they think that I'm swinging down. Well, it's impossible to hit a ball over the net if you're swinging downward. So while it might look like I'm coming downward, by the time I'm getting to the ball, my paddle's going up. And the rule states you have to be swinging with an upward motion. The screwball serve is not legal. I'm actually hitting it lower too, so it's definitely below my waist height. This is a legal serve. Do not let anyone tell you that it's not legal. The only thing that would make it illegal is if I'm spinning the ball before I hit it with my hand. So if I'm doing something like this, and I'm spinning the ball, that gives it way too crazy a spin, makes the bounce too unpredictable. Release the ball from your hand without spinning it. You can spin it with your paddle and it's completely legal. So let's talk about the general motion now. So I recommend sending sideways. You can be a little more open on this serve than normal, but I think it's good to actually disguise it. So you should pretend like you're gonna hit a topspin until the last second, then all of a sudden you're hitting a screwball and you've confused them and you've tricked them. So you don't want to be looking like I'm about to hit a screwball serve, because then they're going to be all ready for you to hit the serve and they're going to be ready for the spin. So you should disguise it at first. In terms of the swing motion, obviously you're coming from here, from a normal take back, and you're hitting the ball in front of you. And when you're doing that, you need to be cutting across your body. So this serve is actually something that we stole from tennis as well. So a lot of things in pickleball are stolen from tennis. You might have seen Nick Kyrgios or Alexander Bublik throwing one of these in a match. In tennis, though, you kind of hit it as a drop shot. There's a super famous moment where Michael Chang did this against Ivan Lendl. And funny enough, Ivan Lendl actually plays pickleball now, so this serve probably gives him nightmares. But it's a thing we stole from tennis. In pickleball, though, we actually want to get a little bit of power with it. So we're not hitting it short like a drop shot. You want it to go deep through the court. And the way that we have to make that happen is we don't want to be cutting so much. You're sort of cupping around the ball as you're hitting it forward. So it's not all cut, right? If I only cut the ball, it's not going to go forward and it's not going to go over the net. It's also going to be hard to stay consistent if I'm putting too much spin on the ball. So what you want to do is come initially like this, cutting into the ball, but then extend forward after you make contact. So it's not really a linear motion. It's actually kind of a curved motion. So I'm coming from the side, cutting, 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 cutting. Then I start to extend forward as I'm hitting the ball. The only way to get the hang of this is practice. So if you've never done this spin before and you're trying it for the first time, you might not even be able to hit the ball. The more you practice it though, the more you'll get the feel and you'll be able to see the curve on the shot if you're doing it right. If you have a good pickleball, the ball will curve if you're getting enough spin, and that's a good indication that you're using the right motion. And then all you need to do after that is figure out how to do it the same way every single time so that you get consistent with it. Remember that the biggest mistake players will make on this is they cut too hard and they don't get a clean shot that they can make in over and over again. And guys, just out of curiosity, I'm wondering how many people you see using this serve at the courts, because for me, coming from tennis, it's super easy. I'm curious how many people are using it at the courts. I'm also wondering if you guys think this should be legal. To me, I think it should be legal because it's effective, but it's not too effective to where when you're spinning it with your hand and the ball is jumping all over the place. Do you think this serve should be legal? And are you seeing players actually using it at the courts? Let me know in the comments. So in terms of how much power you should use and where you should aim this serve, it's very specific. This is the most important part of using the serve effectively. Just getting spin isn't good enough. You also need to be hitting it at the right pace and aiming it in the right spots if you want your opponent to miss these or to give you easier returns with them. So as you can see here, I got my little radar gun set up. On a screwball serve, I'm hitting it somewhere in the mid-30s. So that was 36. This serve is around 37. So you don't want to be pushing it to the 40s with the screwball serve. If you're going too hard on the screwball, you're going to start missing it because we don't have the topspin to suck the ball down. When I'm hitting a topspin serve, it's a lot harder, right? So that was 43, but you'll be seeing guys serve into the 50s sometimes when they're going for heavy topspin serves. So this serve is a little bit slower, but you don't want to be going 20s and going too slow. That was 32. That was probably a little bit too slow to where this serve isn't going to be as effective. There's a right range where it's hard enough, but it's also soft enough to where it still curves and you're not going to be missing the ball all over the place. So there's a consistency factor to this too. You don't want to just be going for broke here because you'll miss the ball long. You don't have that topspin to give you the consistency that you need. So in terms of where to aim it, now that you know you're going to be keeping the speed pretty consistent, there's a few spots that you need to keep in mind. My favorite spot is to go right at the person's forehand and make it curve into their backhand. So what that looks like is this. I go right at the person's forehand. They think it's coming to their forehand. Then all of a sudden the ball is curving into their body. Or it might even switch to their backhand side. Why I love that target the most is because regardless of what side you're using it on, it's the safest spot to aim for because it's right down the center. So you're not risking missing the ball wide. And if you're not super comfortable with going for spin, it's easy to accidentally do what I just did and miss the ball wide. So going right at the person's forehand is one of the best spots. If they're a lefty, it'd be right at their backhand because it's the best way to get that confusion factor. The other spot that I like to aim for, this takes a little bit more skill and precision, is to go with the curve. So for me, I'm righty, so my ball curves to the right. I like to go for that opening. As you can see with Drew, he's leaving a pretty big opening towards the middle. And what I can do to take advantage of this is I can curve that ball right towards there. So that one didn't even go that close to the line, but because it's curving, it still gets pretty far away from him by the time that it gets to him. And as you can see, that one was super deep. So definitely, as with any serve, there's a huge advantage to hitting this deep because they have less time to react to that curve off of the bounce. Just be careful about hitting the ball long. Another bonus tip, when you're hitting this serve, I'm a righty, so I want to be standing as far as I can to the left in my box because that gives the curve the biggest possible effect. If I'm far to the right, the ball is actually just going straight by the time it gets to him. But as you can see, when I'm standing close to the middle on the right side, the ball is actually going to be curving away from him by the time that it gets to him. So from this side, you get more of an effect when you come out wider and you serve it from here. As you can see, the ball is going to be going more sideways by the time it gets to him because of my position. See, it's already going to be going sideways, but the curve exaggerates that even more. This isn't 100% necessary to do, but it does give you a little bit more of an effect. So if you want to try it out, make sure to stand farther out wide on your non-dominant side and farther towards the middle on your dominant side. So the main thing that you're thinking about though when you're getting started on the serve is making the ball curve. So with all the technique that we just went through, all the aiming and power, you want to make sure that when you're seeing the ball fly through the air, you see how my ball curves and then it kind of jumps to the side off the bounce? So you need to make sure you're seeing that or else you're doing something wrong. The one caveat to that is if your paddle just doesn't have enough grit. So as you can see here, if I use this funny bad paddle, this thing is smooth as butter, doesn't have any grit, it actually makes an insane difference. So I actually can't spin the ball pretty much at all through the air. As you can see, the flight path is about half the amount of curve that I get with my normal paddle. When I go back to my regular paddle that I've been using, you'll see I can cut more into the ball and there's a way bigger jump to the side off of the bounce. So it's clear as day. And the reason for that is this is a T700 carbon fiber face. So all the best paddles, pretty much all the best paddles, uses the same material as the grittiness. In here, it's very gritty. And what's crazy is that our paddles have this material, but they're significantly cheaper than other options on the market. Most paddles with this material are over $200 or over $150. This one specifically, if you use code screwball, is only $50. We have a few others that are also very cheap for their respective prices. So if you're in the market for a new paddle and you need one so you can hit this serve effectively, make sure to go check out ours. You don't have to use ours, but they're very, very good for their price. So if you're looking to save a little bit, that's why we made ours, and that's why we made ours cheaper. And even if you have this material over time, after a few months of using it, it starts to wear out. So you definitely need to replace it pretty consistently to get the most effect from spinny serves like this. And the last thing I wanted to cover is this serve actually effective? It's kind of a debate. And what I'll say, if you're serving a screwball serve against a pro player, it's probably not going to work as good for you as a heavy, hard topspin serve. But if you're playing someone that's 4.5 or below, so 4.5 is a rating, if you're playing someone that has below a 4.5 rating, I have personally seen that this serve can be insanely effective. And the lower that someone's level gets, the less they have the ability to respond to the ball curving. So if you're playing at a 3.5 level, which I know a lot of people watching are, this serve works insanely well and it's insanely consistent. If you're watching this and you're a 5.0 player, you might be saying, these are really easy for me to return, right? I'm a 5.0 player, so for me, the screwball serve isn't that challenging to return. But most players are not 5.0, and this serve is very, very effective against most players. So give it a shot, and let me know in the comments if you think this serve is very effective or not. And if you want to watch another video from us, check out one of these.